Twice a week, Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay dissect the biggest topics in Black culture, politics, and sports on their show, Higher Learning. They discuss the most important and timely conversations while also frequently inviting guests on the podcast and occasionally debating each other. Check out Higher Learning on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements, so many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms.
You know, Nayte was very kind. He said all the right things, but I really wasn't getting that feeling that he was ready for sure to propose to her. I think she's really feeling a lot for you.
Yeah.
It's and I just want to make sure that you're feeling it for her
genuine.
too.
Yeah.
I think one of the things she likes about him is that he's a little more surprising, maybe a little less predictable. To be honest, I am worried about that. I just hope you're not going to hurt her. I hope you're going to show that same feeling back to her. It really would be just heartbreaking if this ended without an engagement, if the person she chose thinking they're ready and then they're not. That would not be a good ending.
Welcome to Bachelor Party. I'm Juliet Litman. I'm here with Callie Curry. Callie, we did it. We made it to the end of Michelle's season. It feels like it took years off both of our lives, but here we are. How are you feeling?
I don't feel good because it's I love being right. I was wrong about who won. But I do feel good that we got to the end. I am so excited for Bachelor to come back.
Me too.
And I'm happy to have wrapped up these 2 Bachelorettes back to back.
Me too. It's just been like, bam, 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 Bachelorette. So I too am excited to move on to The Bachelor. But let's get into this finale. I mean, where should we begin? Do we begin with the awkwardness at the top of the episode? Do we just go straight to the finale? Like, what was the number one? What was like the headline for you coming out of this episode?
Poor Brandon's heart.
Do you still like him?
I do still. How do you not like? I literally don't get how someone doesn't like him. I get why you wouldn't want to like have sex with him. I get you not wanting to marry him, but like you can't not like the kid. He's such a nice kid.
He is sweet. He definitely seems sweet. I'll give you that. But like,
and does he not seem so genuine?
No, I don't think so. I was thinking about this. Okay. Yes. I feel like you want to say something.
I would like to know why you don't think he seems genuine. But like, yes, he has these like little one-liners, smooth talker or whatever. But like, I like genuinely think that he was in love. I genuinely think that he wants the best for Michelle. Like even tonight where he was like, I love her, but I don't think it's respectful for me to love her in that way. Like, no guy says that. No one literally gives a fuck about the other person. I think he's like so nice.
And that's why I don't like him, because I don't think that's natural. Like, I don't think this is like normal behavior. And I'm just like, it freaks me out. Like, this is not how normal
So you're saying because
men talk.
normal? Yeah, because normal men, in your opinion, are assholes, and he's not an asshole. It's unnatural.
It's not just that he's not an asshole. It's like the way he emotes and like speaks with such like cliche language about love and like
I don't like that.
Me neither. And it's it's also like, I can't believe Michelle's parents fell for it.
I think he was raised very well.
Okay, that's a nice way of putting it. Shout out to his parents.
Yeah. They did raise him correctly. I think he says what he thinks he's supposed to say. The cliche language is very odd. I'm not sure if like he watched a lot of like rom-coms or something. Yeah.
He
I
seems
don't
like
know
a
where
Hitch
that
guy.
comes. Yeah, I don't know where that comes from, but he seems to always have the like one-liners like ready.
Do you think he wrote the letter himself that he signed?
Yes.
That, like signed Love B. Like when I was watching this episode, I was like, did these guys really think of all of this? Like everything they said on their own? Like, did someone tell Nayte, like, Nayte, you need to tell Michelle how you feel, otherwise you're not getting this? Like
100% the producers told Nayte that, but like no one wrote Nayte. Like what Nayte said wasn't impressive at all.
Not at all. Not at all. When he was like, it would suck to get sent home, I was like, okay. And then he was like, I know it's not a very deep way of putting it. And I was like, okay, at least he's self-aware. I like it.
Yeah,
I accept
think
it.
he's like, I also appreciate that he's like, this is what you're gonna get. This is who I am. I can't like recite poetry to you. It's just not happening.
There was just like a lot of weird stuff happening with Nayte this episode. But before that, the first 30 minutes was just so awkward. I couldn't believe the tenor. Like they went straight into it. First of all, they didn't introduce Michelle's sister. There's no like, here's Angela, my sister. It's just like she was there. And like you're supposed to like know who she is. That was so weird.
Yeah, actually I was wondering. I was like, wait, is that her sister? And then I was like, it has to be her sister because sometimes they have friends on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she looked too much alike.
Yes. And she also was like kind of quiet, like kind of like holding back in some ways. And I feel like a friend would try to like make themselves feel more known essentially. But they didn't even like, it was just really weird. And I kind of, the first time I watched, I wasn't paying great attention. I was like, wait, where did this woman come from? I was like, is that a producer? Because I only saw her initially for Nayte because I just wasn't paying attention for Brandon. I was like very confused.
I'm trying to think if I remember her for Brandon.
She was just like in the first shot.
She kind of just like sat to the side.
She didn't really talk to Brandon. She was there in the beginning when Michelle arrived and Michelle was like, it was very sweet. She was excited to see her family. She was crying and her sister was there, but they didn't really focus on that at all. And she didn't really give her a big hug or whatever.
Also, is that her only sibling?
I don't think so. I think she also has a brother. She's mentioned her brother on the show.
Yeah, she has.
So that was all just very, very weird. Yeah. And then her parents just like freaking love Brandon. I was like almost uncomfortable.
I think all parents would like Brandon though. He's like kind of bubbly. He brings good energy. Like I think Brandon is someone as a parent that you want your daughter to date. Like he doesn't seem like a player. He doesn't seem like, you know what I mean? Like he seems just like a good guy. I think from us watching it, like the whole episode, I was just seeing it like build up to like, you know how you can tell the editing? I'm like, okay, Nayte's winning.
Yeah.
But like watching it, I was just like, fuck, his heart is going to break. Like the whole time I was just like, this is going to be so miserable to watch. And then him getting out of the car and being like, I'm about to get engaged. I was like, why'd they edit that in there? Like,
well, why did she make him go through with it? Like very frequently bachelorettes like will go to the person.
Them?
Yeah. And I'm just like, why?
Or before they even do it. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I can't have you propose. I care about you too much. If she really did like love him, I think she shouldn't have had him propose. That was kind of messed up because he was heartbroken as we saw.
He was heartbroken. Also, it was way too long of a walk down and walk up.
No.
Like,
it was
that
like,
alone, you should have stopped him at the top of the stairs.
I was wondering if that was close to paradise. And I think at this point now we have to acknowledge that we don't actually know what Brandon and Michelle said to each other in the breakup because I couldn't hear it over the waves. The waves were so fucking loud.
It
was it a storm?
Also,
like, what
not
the fuck
a great
happened?
day outside. It was like not pretty at all. Like I wouldn't want that highlight for my proposal. You know,
Caitlin got that sweet picture of Brandon though, so the sun came out later.
By the way, what a picture! Can't believe that they just like plopped that up on stage, but.
Brandon was definitely like, hey, can you send me that? I got to put that on my Instagram.
100%. Yeah, I thought that.
I know. I'd like get it framed if it were me. I'd be like, wow, this is awesome.
What did Brandon say? He's like, if that's not the definition of the beauty through the storm or something.
Yeah. It was nice, I guess. He just like read like a phrase book and he's just been spitting them out whenever he can.
I think he's so sweet. He's like obviously like he comes across so young, which I do think he looked a little bit older after the final rose.
He comported himself well. We'll get to that. But my lowest Brandon moment, and I know I'm a Brandon hater, like unfairly. My lowest Brandon moment was like basically for all the really hot button-down, fully buttoned shirts that Joe wore, Brandon wore the complete opposite. He wore a short sleeve white like golf shirt that had like a half zipper and he tucked it in.
Yeah, I remember.
I was appalled. I was like, this is literally like what a teenager would do.
It looked good from far away.
No, it didn't.
When they zoomed out and they were walking through like I don't know where they were walking through the hotel, I was like, okay, they look like a cute couple. I remember thinking that. But that was like a zoomed out. I also do remember thinking of like the days in 8th grade when I was like obsessed with Lacoste.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Totally. And like Abercrombie polo shirts too. And like flipping your collar up. So lame. In that same scene, I did think to myself, oh, Brandon has got a good butt. I didn't notice that previously. And I was like, okay, cute.
He has a good body, actually.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he has a good body. So does Nayte. So that cancels out.
Nayte is unfair at the height. I mean, Brandon's like probably like more muscular, but I actually like a more natural looking type anyway. So I don't know.
I think Brandon looks natural though. He's not like beef head.
No, he looks good, but he looks like he works out.
He looks short and somehow he is taller than Michelle.
And just because he has short guy personality and like short guy vibes.
Also, maybe short next to Nayte.
Yeah, totally. But I think he's like at least 6 feet.
How tall is Joe?
Joe was like 6'3", I think. 6'2".
He seemed so much taller than Brandon.
Yeah, I know. He did. Well, that's the personality. It's the difference between Joe and the button down and Brandon in the half zip polo shirt. Who knows where he got it?
Also, since we're talking about clothing, I know we mentioned that it looked like a horrible day outside. I couldn't tell at first if everyone was sweating or if it was like raining and humid and misty.
It was sweat.
And then when they zoomed in on Brandon's shirt, it was soaked. And for like a split second, I thought it was soaked from his tears. And then I realized, I was like, oh, okay, no, he is sweating through that shirt.
It's Mexico in July. It's like humid as fuck.
And they have a full suit on.
Full suit, like lights around you, cameras, makeup, like that blows. That sounds
Mexico,
really hot.
It had to be close to 100 degrees.
And humid. It's not like the desert. It's like a heavy 100 degrees. So gross. And
miserable.
And just, really, really brutal. But the breakup with Brandon, it was sad, but I don't know. I just like, I will not be thinking about Brandon again. Like, do you want to see him on Paradise?
Absolutely.
Why do I hate Brandon so much? I feel bad. I'm almost like, am I a bad person?
He literally has done nothing bad.
I know.
Like you
this is why I'm single.
Peter the pizzapreneur, I'm like, okay, I get it. Brandon, I get you not wanting to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
But like hate him as a person?
I know. I'm responding
rough.
too strongly. I feel bad.
Yeah.
I'm being really mean. I need to take it down a notch.
Not sure he deserves that.
Let's talk about Brandon after the final rose, and then we'll just move on to Nayte. Although,
gosh.
Before we do that, can we just acknowledge that the Bachelor got Twitter shamed into making everyone in the studio wear masks, which I don't even like have an opinion on. I don't know. It's so confusing right now with COVID. But for like the first 25 minutes, everyone, or like a lot of people were tweeting about how the studio audience weren't masked. And so Caitlin comes on and she's like, we've seen your feedback. And just so you know, everyone here has a negative test, but in abundance of caution, everyone will be masked for the rest of the time. And I was just like, great. So we're back to the abundance of caution phase of like April 2020, like shoot me in the face.
But yes, we are.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Joe Biden told me today it's not as bad as March 2020.
As a follower of the NBA, I would politely disagree.
They weren't testing then.
This is the worst of the worst.
It's really bad. Anyway, I just thought that was really funny. Also, it happened like right after the 2 dates with the parents. And so I was like, this has just been the most awkward 30 minutes for The Bachelor in quite some time.
Another side note before we delve into the post-game presser of Brandon. Caitlyn did a really good job.
Caitlyn crushed it. And, you know, we haven't been fans of Caitlyn and Tayshia, though I think we've liked Caitlyn as a host more. She did a really good job. She just seemed like loose, like she was having fun. She understood the assignment. I was like, did they fire Tayshia? But it turned out she was exposed to COVID, so she couldn't go.
I also think that it's probably just easier with one person.
Yeah. Also, they can coach you better. They can be like, okay, do this,
I have to imagine Caitlyn's better. Obviously, we see that. But I have to imagine Tayshia would be better one-on-one too. Like, not trying to guess what the other person's going to say, not trying to like talk over each other. Like, it just makes it so weird. Also, it's just, why do we need two people? It's like 2 versus 1. The like optics don't even look good with 2 people up there. So I think I would have liked either one of them solo more, but I think Caitlyn did a really good. Like I don't really have criticism for her. I was fine.
Me
with her.
Me neither. Also for Caitlyn, she does like these live shows. She does like a podcast tour.
Oh yeah.
And so she has experience like on the stage by herself. So it's probably harder for her to be like, what am I like in a team? Whereas she's used to hosting and like leading the way and kind of like owning the stage or whatever. So she did an awesome job. I actually think this was like one of the better after the final roses, full stop. Like I was just like, oh, this is like actually a value add. Maybe it's because the finale was so bad and boring that I was like, oh, this is actually interesting. But I don't know. Also, I could hear it clearly. They weren't fighting the waves of Puerto Vallarta. So that was helpful too.
I do think that finale episodes are boring.
They're boring unless like something crazy happens. Like they change their mind or
way
whatever.
Too long.
Yes, way too long. I mean, 3 hours tonight. I just can't.
It was a lot.
No thanks. It's way too much. We got to go challenge length. I think that Bachelor needs to trim down to an hour and a half and do like 30-minute after shows.
Yeah, sometimes 30-minute episodes aren't horrible.
Oh, I love a 30-minute episode. Of course.
Yeah, I don't always need 2 hours, 3 hours. Like sometimes less is more.
I know. Like once again, let's get some Housewives energy, some better sound editing, some more fun. That's what we need. But on the topic of the after the final rose, Brandon, I thought he was very sweet. I thought it was kind of funny that he and Michelle were matching. Brandon definitely dressed as himself. Michelle is dressed by the stylist Carrie, but I just thought it was really funny. They probably gave him some notes, but the fact that he was wearing the exact same color cracked me up.
Yeah,
it's Christmassy
they actually
too.
Looked great on the stage together.
They did.
They do have like similar complexions, so I wonder if also like wine is a good choice against.
Right.
I don't know.
Skin color.
Yeah.
It's a jewel tone, so it's good on camera.
Well, you know how I love jewel tones in general. So, but also his did he want to be there?
It was like so monotonous. I texted you. I was like, this is like an NBA player after they lose in the playoffs, like, and they're forced to do media. It's
Yeah.
like, he's just like, take me out of here. So I guess the heartbreak was real.
It gave very Marshawn Lynch vibes. Like, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he was just like answering the questions and was just like, okay, like we all know I got my heart broken. How long do I need to talk about it for?
Totally. A big don't get fired moment for him where he's just like, okay, I'm just going to keep doing it. That maybe I get paid out extra if I show up here. And he did seem sad. He also said that the people who helped him through it were Will, who we know from his fight with the pizzapreneur. He had his jacket thrown in the pool.
Daniel.
The other guy is Daniel. And I was like, who is Daniel? I have no idea who that is. And then I went back and looked. He was one of the firefighters from Austin.
Okay, so when you texted me who is Daniel, I was like, what is she watching? I didn't hear him say it, so I like rewound and heard him say it, and then you texted me the picture, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I remember him like via picture through face.
I don't think he spoke. I don't think he spoke once on the show.
Also, it just made me think to myself, like, yeah, that seems right. Will and Daniel would be the people that would help you.
Interesting.
Whereas Nayte, I think it would be like, I don't know, like Joe and Olu. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like those two seem like more mature. I don't like, I feel like based off
different personalities. Yeah.
Yeah. Will and Daniel make sense for Brandon.
Yes. Well, I can't say about Daniel because I have no idea what he's like, but sure, with Will.
But I mean, like, even that, just like some random dude, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Because of all the focus on Joe and then like Nayte having it in the bag and like the Jamie saga and then the Chris S saga, we got to, it wasn't like as egregious this season, but I would say we know like even less about the men of Michelle's season than we did about the women of Matt's season. I know very little about these guys, like very little. Like when I had Romeo on and he was saying like Casey's his best friend from the show, I was just like, did you guys ever interact? Like what is all I know about Casey is he looks like Dax Shepard. Like I don't know anything about him. We knew very little about Romeo too.
I mean, we knew he was smart.
Sure. Math. Named Romeo. Whatever.
Yeah, but I feel like you don't ever know. Like, they didn't make it that far.
No. But
like, we know enough about Olu.
Sure. Apparently, by the way, there was like a rumor going around that Olu was a Trump supporter, but it's not true. Thank God.
Oh, wow.
Few.
Yeah, there's no way. What a horrible rumor to start.
I know. That's like character assassination. Oh,
yeah, I
man.
just even feel like the way he spoke on the show, that can't be right.
Another like kudos to Caitlin. I wonder if Brandon really hadn't seen that photo, because like in the moment I believed it. I was like, wow, he really hasn't seen it. Maybe they're both like good actors, but she sold that really well, and maybe he didn't. I mean, I
believed it.
Yeah, so did I. I was like, I just kind of like believed everything tonight, which maybe is weird.
That is just like a testament to how good the episode was. But also, what a fucking great picture.
I know. It was like beautiful photography.
It really was a great picture. I was like, if this is like if Caitlin really took this from her phone, I would be pleased if I was Brandon, and I would ask for it and I would post it.
Absolutely. I'd be like, this is the journey, you know?
With the cliche phrase, he's got to do it.
Something about a sunset. I mean, I can't hate on the sunset content. You know, I support it, but
I am a huge supporter of sunset content. And that one was beautiful.
It really was.
Wait, where were they?
Mexico. I believe they
Mexico.
They were near Puerto Vallarta, I think. Like they weren't at Sayulita where they do Paradise, but they were nearby, which makes the waves thing even more inexplicable. It's like, you all have experience filming on these very beaches. Like, why were the waves so loud? There's no answer.
It really bothered you? It didn't bother me as much. The multiple walking things bothered me.
Like the weird, like, here's now a square of wood to walk across, and then
but then sand. Go right back into sand, and here's another one. Then go right back into sand. Like, why?
In general, that whole like platform podium, super budget. I was just like, are those like sticks they found in the jungle? I was just like, what is this?
I mean, that along with the horrible weather, I was like, y'all couldn't wait one more day to see if it's brightened up.
The sweaty finale is pretty common, I think, because they're like, they're
sweaty is fine. Gray is not. Gray with waves, no.
I don't think you can push production one day unless it's like a hurricane or something. But they're tight schedules. Also, this I think finished filming in end of August, early September, and like Clayton season was like 2 weeks later. So they like tight timeline. They had turned around. Just like us.
But then let's change the location. You got to have a backup option. It doesn't have to be on the beach.
Also, it could be inside. You could have a really nice indoor situation.
I feel like they always have it outdoor.
They do, but like maybe mix it up one time. Go inside.
I wonder why that is, actually.
Probably looks more dramatic, or they want the wind, or they want the sweat. I don't know.
But the amount of stairs they had to walk was asinine.
The whole thing was
in a full suit in the summer. Like, and then when Brandon was going up, he like stopped a few stairs and turned around and looked. I was like, this is too much. I can't tell if he's stopping to look back or if he just needs a fucking break because there's so many stairs.
I hope it was just because he was sad. I think he's in better shape than that. I would need to break. I would need a water break. I'd be like, pause. But I think Brandon could do it. I was surprised when they were saying goodbye. Her makeup didn't run at all. Not from sweat, not from tears. It was really impressive.
Great makeup.
Really impressive. She looked good all season.
She was dabbing the crap out of it.
I know.
Making sure it didn't run.
I know.
I mean, also, I feel like it's a pretty tight turnaround from one to the next, right? So like you really don't want it to run too much.
And also it would like hurt the vibe of like your engagement pictures and of your person knowing that you were just weeping. So
bawling. Yeah.
let's talk about Nayte. We've barely talked about him. So Nayte's meeting with the parents was brutal, to say the least. I mean,
yeah,
I actually can't believe she still picked him after that. Like, she must be really into him, because
she is.
That was crazy bad. Like maybe like one of the worst meetings of the parents I can remember. In the finale, like it was like up there with Madison and Barb. Like that was really bad.
Not that bad, but yeah,
that's
bad.
because Michelle's mom is like much nicer and more sane than Barb, but it was similar.
I don't think that her parents, specifically her mom, her dad seems like pretty like laid back. Her mom, I think, was asking great questions.
Yeah, they were legit.
But like, I don't think that she was like being mean or aggressive. I feel like she was asking questions, and his answers were just so bad. She was like, I don't really get this.
It was all on Nayte. Yeah, she was like, I don't see it. Nate's answers were horrible. He seemed so nervous, and also just like
nervous. I guess I don't really want someone to be prepared. You know what I mean? Like, I want like real answers, but like, you would think that if you felt a certain way, you'd be able to give better answers, even if you don't want to like express your feelings. And I think what her mom said was, she was like, I hear you, but I don't feel you. I think that's like a tough thing, because like, what do you like? I can't make you feel what I'm saying, even if he is telling the truth. But like, I would have said, if I was his mom, like, I hear you, but these answers are just really bad, which is why I can't feel it.
She's too nice for that. Maybe that's what you would do, but she's like way too polite. I think that he just doesn't like have this language. Like, I do believe he's never like been in this before. And that's kind of why I was like, I don't like Brandon, I prefer Nayte, is because I think it's like actually way more normal to not be able to express how you feel when like you're in love for the first time.
Or want to express how you feel to someone's parents.
You think, I mean, are you asking if I think that's normal?
I am saying that I think it's fine that it's not normal.
Yeah, that like doesn't like come easily. It's like, okay, good. This is actually hasn't happened before. That said, he was abysmal. And I'm like, maybe, you know, Nayte, be a little bit quicker on your feet, or like mentally prepare for what this could be like. But I also think more human to me.
Way more human, way more real, way more normal. Like, most guys, actually, like, I don't like 80% of guys in that situation are going to be more like Nayte than Brandon.
100%.
You're not going to like meet your girlfriend's parents for the first time, essentially. And wait, it was Nate's first time.
Yeah, it was
right?
Nate's first time.
Yeah. Meet the parents for the first time, and like just be able to be like, I'm in love with your daughter, and here's why, and this is what I'm going to do. And that's not normal.
No.
I think that I gave him a little bit of a pass, because I think he has told us enough that like he also didn't hear that.
Right. He didn't experience that language, so he doesn't like have that language. And that's really what it is. Like, it's about like knowing how to put your feelings. And that's what we talk about this a lot with the show. It's like so much about like how you emote and like express how you're feeling. And he just wasn't really ready for that, which, you know, he got there by the end. And I thought that their date with like what was that guy's role? And they were like went into the forest. I didn't really understand what was happening.
I don't know.
To be honest, I didn't.
Therapist-ish?
I didn't completely understand what was happening there. But I thought when he kept like messing up and like dropping the stuff, I was like, this is really awkward too. He just seemed so nervous. And Michelle seemed
it's a weird date.
Yeah, and Michelle seemed nervous for him as well. Like, she like really wanted to go well because she was so into him. And she was just like, oh God. You could just tell her energy. She was like tightly wound, and it was hard to watch.
I think that she wanted it to go well, especially like because of the whole parent situation. Like, here, now everyone's going to see this and they're going to get it. And like the whole time she was like, he's making it so hard for me to have to pick. Like, I think she was picking him the whole time.
Yeah, I agree.
But she wanted people to agree with her pick. And she knew in that moment they were not.
You mean the sweatshirt from her food fight didn't win her over? I can't believe that. That was so lame. That was so childish. I forgot about that until this very moment. But
as much as I love Brandon,
pass on that.
pass on that.
This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements, so many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need. Have coverage options to protect the things you value most. File a claim right on the State Farm mobile app and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When do you think she knew? Like after she had sex with them? Like what do you think it was? After the overnights? Because if Nate's performance in this final episode didn't deter her, like if just like the one conversation where he's like, I'm in love with you was like all she like she just like needed to hear it so that she could say it back. Like she had to have known days before that.
Maybe weeks.
Yeah.
I think like obviously I thought she was going to pick Brandon because I thought she wanted someone to see her. But like when you look back on the season, like I think she's known for a while.
Yeah. I mean, he got the first impression rose. So
like I wanted her to be with Joe so badly that I think I was kind of like not paying attention. And then when you think about it, like
he's been there this whole time.
I think it's like, it's always been Nate. You know what I mean?
Yes. Did you ever watch One Tree Hill?
Duh.
There's an episode in season 3 when Lucas realizes he's in love with Peyton and it's like, it's you. It's always been you. It's just like that.
Maybe that's where I got that from. I love Peyton Sawyer, by the way.
I love Peyton Sawyer and I love Nathan. Oh my God. I love Nathan so much.
I can't even go on this tangent.
You don't love Nathan?
No.
He's so hot. What are you talking about? You like Lucas?
Yeah, love.
I mean, like he's objectively handsome, but like it's all about Nathan.
No, I think I would love our listeners to let us know Nathan or Lucas, and I bet we're gonna get way more Lucas.
Absolutely not. There is no way. Oh my God, I'm shocked by this. Is it his teeth? Is that the problem for you with Nathan?
No, I think Nathan gives off like extreme frat vibes.
But that's the thing. He comes around pretty quickly. He's a teenage dad.
He's still fratty. Like he's still like very white privilegey.
Yeah, I mean that's why what's her face? That's why Rick Fox had to hit Haley with the car.
Wait, also, don't you ever think about shows like that? There's like a few others though that you think about like some of the issues they tackle and you're like, oh wow, it's kind of a progressive show.
Kind of, but then you're like Skills is like the most racist character. Like just like his name is Skills
but like Skills was on the show.
That's true. Dawson's Creek didn't have any black people on the show.
Yeah.
So that's true.
Dawson's Creek also did tackle some issues though.
Like sleeping with your teacher?
Yeah. I recently was rewatching Dawson's Creek and there was a few issues that I was like, huh.
It hasn't aged well. I rewatched it in year 1 of the pandemic.
Yeah, but there are some like random shows I watch and I'm like, wow.
Well, Degrassi
tackled some stuff.
Degrassi is like that too. Degrassi and One Tree Hill. I actually once wrote about this for Grantland.com.
Or what's it called? Friday Night Lights.
Oh yeah. Great show.
So many issues in that were tackled pretty beautifully.
Before Creed, but after Friday Night Lights, I was like once playing a game with my friends. And they're like, who's the richest, or not richest, who's the most famous person that you think you could like reasonably hook up with? And I was like positive for me it was Michael B. Jordan. But he wasn't like that famous yet. And I had met him and I was like, it's Michael B. Jordan. I know it. And now obviously it's an absolutely insane thing to say.
Yeah.
This was like, you won't even acknowledge the comment.
No. Around Friday Night Lights, though, I can understand.
Yeah, it was like 2014, 2015.
I guess that's acceptable. I think you've told me this story, and I'm pretty sure I just like blacked it out.
Because
like,
it's
when
so
you said it,
insane.
I didn't know where you were going, and then when you said it, I was like, "Wait, I've definitely heard this before."
I was just like, I was a really early fan. That's just what I'm trying to say, and I like loved him from a young age. Bill interviewed him, and I like pretended to like have a job on Bill's podcast, which like I didn't. I just worked at Grantland, but I just like wanted to meet him, so I like went. Whatever. Anyway, back to The Bachelor.
You've been there since the beginning.
Kind of. I didn't watch The Wire, but yeah. Other than that, I did watch Parenthood. Back to Nayte.
Yeah, back to Nayte.
It's always been Nayte. He's always been there.
I really do think that she's known for like weeks.
I agree. And I think Brandon's
I think she was
sweet.
waiting for him. I think she was waiting to hear I'm proposing, or essentially get the vibe that he's proposing.
Yes.
But once she got that, it was like, great.
Yeah, and then she was ready to go. I think the thing with
But
Brandon,
I do think she cared about
yes,
Brandon.
absolutely.
I don't think that she was like in love, could be with you forever with Brandon, but maybe I could if Nate's not.
Yeah, I think that like as soon as he said I love you, and like, you know, he clearly got a pep talk from the producer who was like, you need to tell her how you're feeling, otherwise you're gonna blow it. Like, then she was good to go. And they seemed genuinely happy. But my personal biggest revelation from this whole finale evening, Michelle at the after show was a different person. Like,
Oh my gosh.
she seemed like she was so much more relaxed, like clearly very happy to be out in the open with Nayte. But like, I was like, did she enjoy being the Bachelorette at all? Like, she also wasn't doing her like slow talking thing. Like, she was talking like a regular person at a regular cadence. And it wasn't like, Caitlin, the way that I feel about Nayte is so huge, and he shows up for me every day and he sees me. Like, she was just speaking like a normal human. And I just was like, I was just like, did she enjoy being the Bachelorette at all? Because now I think no.
I think that she wanted to like represent herself in a certain way. And so maybe she was more calculated on the show. And like was overthinking what she said, how she said it to make sure it came across how she'd like.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that like the after show is probably kind of like her being able to breathe. Like, okay, it's over. I got my guy. He's moving to Minnesota. Like, I can fully relax now.
I know, which was like, that was probably my favorite moment of the night, was how quickly he said they were moving to Minnesota. He's just like, yeah, I'm moving to Minnesota. Like, not even a question.
He seemed pretty, I don't know if I believed it prior to seeing him say it. And then when him say it, with how he said it, I was like, oh, I think he's actually moving to Minnesota.
Did you think that he seemed into her, like in general, at the finale? At the after show?
There was a moment, I think there was a moment where the moms were like really getting along, and they were talking about how they watched it together and like would text each other about it. And it seemed like Nayte was like really happy about like how they're all like this like big happy family.
Totally.
And like that, I think there was like his smile then, I was like, okay, maybe he really like wants this. I think like from watching him on the show, he just doesn't seem like he wants to be married, but maybe he does. And we like all just like, we're just, I don't know if we were
conditioned
like
to think
we were projecting fuckboy vibes on him.
No, he's got the vibes, but maybe underneath there, he's like excited. I mean, he did yell, I have a fiance. That was kind of cute. I don't know. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I was thinking it's really helpful that he's Canadian, because I feel like a lot of people would not be willing to move to Minnesota because of the weather. So I feel like the fact that he's from Canada and he was like excited to be closer to Canada. He's like, only 7 hours, which by the way is really fucking far. He was like,
yeah, but he seems kind of like a traveler. 7 hours definitely doesn't bother him.
Well, and that's correct because I believe when the sister asked, are you willing to move to Minnesota? His response was, I love an adventure. So he is like a nomadic traveler kind of guy.
I just am like, are they going to work?
I think so. Oh, I don't know. Who knows with his job? I mean, I bet if his current job, he probably can do remotely and then he can probably get another one. I feel like he could like work at Target or something, Target Corporate, which is based in Minneapolis. I don't know.
Also not a bad job. I know a few people that work
Target
Corporate.
It's kind of like working at Amazon, but like in Minneapolis.
Don't we think he's just going to be like full influencer? Like, what are we talking about? Most people don't get jobs after this.
It's a good point. I do think that she will keep teaching. Seems like she's really committed. I'm going to check his following right now, right after the finale was on, see how many people he's got. But I think that, he just got $200,000. They just got $200,000.
Wait, what the fuck was that?
Nate's up to
Is that normal?
No, Nate's up to $150,000. P.S. So I don't even know. But so they're moving to Minnesota and they are given this gingerbread house and inside is a check for $200,000. Like they can, I mean, I guess,
I've never seen that.
No, me neither. And it's like, why? My friend Sarah texted me.
$200,000 for down payment on a house is like pretty, first, like
in almost all parts of the country, that's a huge house. Like there's a few places where it's not a huge house, but like that is huge. Like I remember, I don't know if you saw this, but like Giannis's house was like recently up for sale in Milwaukee. And I was like,
I didn't see that.
And I was like, okay, well, they could buy Giannis's house now. Like if they want to move to Milwaukee or whatever.
How much was Giannis's house up for sale?
It was like 2 or 3, or maybe he had like bought it for 2 or 3. So like if you're putting down 20%, you got $200,000. You can get $1 million house. I'm going to assume they have some money themselves. They can get
more.
Yeah.
Also, you don't necessarily have to, I mean,
you can put down less than 20 too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on your bank, depends on your rate. It's just, real estate. Get at me if you want to chat about it.
They could get a good house.
Great house. They could get a lake house, basically. I mean,
isn't that the goal?
Yeah, it seems amazing. I also love that it's like, I'm on Zillow all the time. It's like, cool.
I just want to know what this like stipulations are. Like, how long do they have to stay together to keep this money?
Right. Like, do the same rules that apply to the rings that if you don't stay together for
what's the ring? 2 years?
I think it's 2 years. And if you don't stay together, then you have to give it back. So like, do they have to give the money or the house back if they break up?
There's got to be strings attached. And those seem like pretty weird strings to attach. Like, you can't like make someone move out of their home, right?
Yeah.
That seems like a lot.
Also, is it taxable income? And if so, like, I think ABC should give them they should top it up.
The taxes for that?
Yeah, exactly. Or Nate should claim
prize money, which is worse.
Right. Even higher tax payment.
Yeah.
Nate should claim it because he lives in Texas right now. So he doesn't have as much income tax. So it should just be in Nate's name. And then in the future, they can figure it out.
Yeah. I don't think Michelle would fly with that. I wouldn't fly with that.
No way.
I mean, do we have any like, I wish they would have explained that more. Like, we're giving this to you because.
Right.
Also, is this a new precedent? Are we giving Clayton and his Shrek children money?
That's a great question. I know, like, why this couple? Like, do they need the money? Is it because she's a teacher? Like, what is it? I have no idea.
I'd like to know.
I know we got to get some follow up on this money. And it's true. Like if I'm the lead in the future,
I want $200,000.
I'm negotiating beforehand. Like if I pick a winner, you are giving me like X. Maybe it's not $200,000. Maybe it's like something else. Like you're paying for like something for a year, whatever it's
It's at least $200,000.
Something that we can make a big splash on TV. Yeah, and then account for inflation. I mean, next year it should be like $225,000.
Yeah, I saw on TikTok that the leads generally make around $100,000.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So like, what?
I know she just like doubled her salary for the year. Plus
she was like about to start crying.
I know, she was blown away. I mean, that is so much money for anyone, especially and like
also just like putting it in a check and being in a freaking gingerbread house and being like, happy holidays. Like, this is a big deal. Where's the big check? Have them stand in front of the check.
I know. There's the giant thing. I have a question for you. The guy who was playing Santa, Pauly, does he mean anything to you? Like, are you familiar with him?
No.
He's like the security guard basically for The Bachelor. And I think that that's like a really like deep inside Bachelor thing where I think like Bachelor podcasters and Bachelor Reddit people know who he is, but like the general Bachelor public doesn't. And I think it's interesting that they're trying to like make him a character.
Make him into a thing.
Yeah. Cause like he doesn't speak. As far as I can tell, all he does is like hand out checks and like look at the camera.
No, he does speak in real life.
Sure, but not on camera. So it's just a weird thing.
I'm thinking that maybe Bachelor, not maybe, probably they like follow Bachelor Reddit because those are like the hardcorest, I don't know if it's a word, but
fans.
A fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They probably do. Whole thing was
so I think it's like little like winks to them.
Yes. And I think they appreciate it. I mean,
yeah.
Twitter demanding that everyone put their mask on is really something. I guess that was the right move. Also, I guess it's good to show that you engage with your audience. I don't know.
I think it's the right move. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
They all put on little black masks. And honestly, like
it is like the health thing
good
to
for
do.
them.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, who fucking knows?
It's kind of funny because Peter's finale was like the last live event to happen in Los Angeles before the shutdown in March of 2020. So I'm just like right back where we are.
Yeah. The Daily, I don't know if you listen to that podcast, but
people don't know this about you, but Callie consumes more podcasts than anyone else I know. It's amazing.
I was listening to the Daily yesterday and there was like a Christmas party that happened somewhere overseas and there was 110 people there.
Yeah.
Netherlands. Yeah. 110 people there and 80 people got COVID, even though they all tested negative before they got there. So it's kind of like a similar situation with this crowd tonight. not saying that 70% of the people there are going to get it, but smart move to put the masks on.
Mask up, people, and get vaccinated. That's all we got to say about it.
I'm wearing masks everywhere.
Me too.
Everywhere.
100%. And like, I'm just bummed. I was like happy going to bars and restaurants again. I guess I got to pause on that. It's just tough on the East Coast. It's cold right now.
Yeah, I got a flu. I got the flu last week. And for how miserable that is, like, no, I can't do another round of that.
I know.
In any form.
It's a real downer.
You know how people are like, COVID, it's just like a little bit worse than the flu. Well, after having the fucking flu last week, a little worse of that, I would be dead. So
don't say
no
that.
Thanks.
You've got two kids.
I'm just saying I don't want to sign up for any version of any flu or any COVID. I'm done. I hate being sick so much. Wash your hands, wear a mask.
It's not just about us. It's about the whole world, right? You got to protect the people around you, people you care about. It's not good. Clayton got really lucky because in the teasers for his season, he clearly is all over Europe. I was like, do I spy the south of France? I'm curious to see.
Yeah, he got like, you know how we were like okay for a few months?
Yeah.
He was like peak okay.
Totally. Like September, October, November. He was like peak okay to travel around the world. And his season looks good. Also,
it looks so good. I am unnaturally excited about this season.
I'm really glad to hear that because we'll be continuing to cover it on this podcast. But it does seem really good. The girls seem like wacky and emotional, which is great. He
awesome.
Had a lot of sex. Great.
Lots of diversity.
Also seems like his finalists can be diverse. I need to deep dive the women they keep showing to see if I really think they go far. The bios are up, but I haven't dug in, but I'm going to do that with Amelia Wedemeyer, my colleague. That will be coming on Thursday. But I need to like, can they really give away his final three? Like, we didn't think so.
I'm so confused.
But
that's my only knock, because I'm like, I feel like they're showing us a lot.
It's true, but with Colton's season, they showed us a lot, and it was still very good. So I think it'll be okay.
Colton's season was great.
Yeah. Also, I thought that like having him come out and acknowledge the negative feedback and like the confusion over him was really smart. And I thought that like Caitlin made him seem likable. And I'm like, oh, I think I like this guy. He's also Team Rodney, like all of us. And I was like, okay, I think I can get behind Clayton.
I think from what we saw, the very little we saw, he seemed very unproblematic. He seemed like a very...
Fingers crossed on that. Who knows?
Football, traditional guy. Like probably wears like American flag swim trunks on 4th of July.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. On a boat.
Yeah, on a lake.
Yeah. Like in like
not an ocean. Big difference.
The Ozarks or something.
Yeah, I could see it. But he seems really nice. I thought he was great with the kids, so I really enjoyed that episode of him. That little episode got me to the point of being like, I'm okay with him being the Bachelor.
I thought Caitlyn did him a huge favor. Like, also she
wouldn't pick him.
No,
but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I agree. She also
Greg is still available, by the way. Like
he posted a thirst trap today, and I thought of you.
He's all over TikTok with Andrew, and their friendship is just so cute.
It is really cute. I like both of them. Yeah, he said like photography by Andrew.
You know what I would like?
What's that?
Since the Bachelor seems to like, you know, be open to ideas and like doing little things different, why not do Greg and Andrew at the same time?
I've always wanted them to do like a double, like a full season double. I think man and woman would be better because then there'd be like inherent tension of like maybe the man and the woman will get together. But I totally agree. And then at a certain point, you can like turn the tables and the women have to choose like, do you want to go for Greg or do you want to go for Andrew? I totally agree.
They could do that. I think they have to do that pretty early on, but they can do that. And then the girls are separate.
That was
for the rest of the time.
That was one of my complaints about F-Boy Island. I was like, why is there not like more mixing between the guys, like if they're going for one woman or the other? Like I totally agree. I think that would be awesome. It would be really, it just like would mix it up too.
Hopefully they're listening. Greg and Andrew would kill it together.
Also, you would get to see someone like with their friends. So you'd get a better sense of like who they are
what kind of friend they are.
Yeah. Like what they want to talk about, like how they like, how they actually emote, not just for the cameras. That's a great idea. I've always thought it would work.
It's crazy how close people from this series get, but Andrew and Greg seem like
besties.
Best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple theories about that. Like, and it seems like, you know, Nayte and Rodney are super close too. I think when you are just like cut off from the world and you don't have your phones, you're not allowed to watch TV. You don't like, all you can do is like read, maybe. You get really close,
get to know people
fast. Yeah. Because you're just like, you have no choice. Like, and you're like living in a bubble. And then you have like this really bizarre experience that like only a few other people can understand. So it checks out to me. Like I get it.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. I just think it's crazy like how close some of these people, but it happens over and over and over and over again.
One thing I also liked from the finale, from the After the Final Rose, I liked the Christmas vibe. I was like, they should always have like a holiday. Like, this is the first time they've done that, and I liked it.
It'd be a little weird if they had like Easter eggs
or like St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, like there's not so many holidays they can do this for.
But it just like made me feel like there should be like a holiday special. Like in the UK, like every popular show has a holiday special. Like they should do that for The Bachelor.
I'm thinking of like the most random holidays right now.
Like what? Like President's Day?
I guess. No, I was thinking of Black History Month, and there just being like posters of Martin Luther King in the background, and it's like two white,
it's like the kind of
Clayton.
It's like a cheap thing they would do. They'd be like, "Look, we embrace diversity. We're celebrating Martin Luther King Day."
Yeah, like I don't. It's only really. Are they going to do a Thanksgiving special?
I don't know. I do think that like let's get creative. Let's mix it up a little bit. I think if we learned anything from Michelle's season and the fact that like we're so happy it's over and like we made it through is like we got to mix it up. Like it's got to get.
By the way,
messy.
Michelle's season was good.
Yes, it was just.
I think
she was an amazing composed lead. It's just like what I was about to say is like I think we like messiness, and I think also like other reality shows have conditioned you to like wanting messiness. And Michelle, was way too mature and composed for that. Like she was just like, no, I've got my shit on lock.
Also, most of her contestants did too.
Yes. Yeah, except for like the few guys in the beginning who just were gone.
But they like made it. I feel like they were like the producers like forcing it. It seems so forced.
Yes, I agree. So I think like because she's also like such like a classy person, honestly, it's like they couldn't just get like total tire fires of dudes to date her. Like they had to get her some better guys.
Also I feel like she would have like sniffed it out and been like, no.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think Clayton's season seems fun because of the messiness. So also I wonder if just like women who go on these shows are inherently more messy. I mean, the Real Housewives, after all quite messy. Oh my God, that reminds me. in the coming attraction for Clayton season, one of the girls is like going like clip to one of the other girls. And I was like, did she get that from Dorinda? Do you remember when Dorinda used to do that on Real Housewives of New York? And she would like try to shush people by going clip.
Shut people.
Clip.
Yeah. I don't remember her saying clip, but I do remember her shushing people. Gosh, TBT, Miss Dorinda.
Me too, big time.
Isn't she on Ultimate Girls Trip 2?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, she is. I'm really excited.
By the way, Ultimate Girls Trip 1 was great, so I can't wait for Girls Trip 2.
I was so upset when it was over. Like, this is like the best vacation I've never been on.
It was too short.
Yeah.
It was too short.
I loved it. It
was great. I started in Miami, which is also on Peacock if you haven't.
I'm looking forward to watching that myself, actually. I've got some flights coming up, so I'm banking some content. Any final thoughts on Michelle's season? I was about to say, any final thoughts on Callie's season?
Michelle, you did great. You looked great majority of the season. I get why you picked Nayte. I think my past is just telling me that maybe it wasn't supposed to be him. But I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that I'm projecting the fuckboy energy onto him and he's actually not one. Or that he's gotten it out of his system, which is completely possible.
Let's hope for the best. We hope you find a great house, make good use of that money, make sure if you break up, you get to keep it, put it in your name, figure out the taxes.
Yeah.
We wish you the best.
I hope you guys stay together, though. Beautiful couple.
Seriously, very, very attractive.
Also, smart. Michelle was thinking, my kids are going to want to play basketball because of me. Nayte helps with that.
That's true. That's true. Also, the fact that he didn't play, if they don't play, they won't feel so weird. You know?
Yeah.
The fact that it's you can be tall and not have to play basketball. Whatever. Just be you. Great, Great stuff. Callie, thanks for another great season doing this with me. Thanks to Devon Manze for producing this episode. We got one more for 2021. Amelia Wedemeyer and I are going to go over the bios this coming week. Next week we're off. We just need a breather. And then we are back January 3rd talking about Clayton. How many times will we call him Colton? It's TBD, but hopefully not many because I don't like Colton. So on that note, congrats to Michelle and Nayte and have a great week.
Woohoo! Happy holidays.